Hello, I'm Colette. Thank you for tuning into my video channel. Today we're going to do a basic introduction to the tarot. The tarot is what I call my tool of the trade. Clairvoyance needs to be something that we're comfortable with. And a lot of people just get things or feel they know things, and that's great. That's the way it starts, that's the way it builds up. You know, I think I knew that person was pregnant, or I had a bad feeling about someone else. But as you progress, you find that you want to pin things down a wee bit more, particularly if you're going to be professional. But even in day-to-day life, it's nice to have something that will help you discern what one thing is or what the other thing is. The tarot is my favourite form of divination. Now, divination is just understanding past, present, future, things that you need to know about by paranormal means or non-normal means. It's out with our other senses. We're basically using our sixth sense. So the tarot for me, although I've tried many other things and still use some, is basically my favourite, and I'm very, very attached to it. I touched my first tarot deck when I was 14, and I believe, if I remember right, I was about 27 before I actually got my own deck, and then I became kind of addicted to it and tried to understand it the best I could. I've now written 2 books on the tarot, and I feel that I like to pass on my way of reading them, which is not the same as everybody. I call my stuff practical tarot because I believe that we should understand the tarot in a way that allows us to have it as easily accessible to us. You know, we want to be able to say, you know, I need a wee bit of advice of something that's going on in my life, and be able to turn to something that we know and understand. And yes, that takes wisdom and it takes knowledge. But where I come in with the practical stuff is that, as I've said before, I know many people who are amazing tarot scholars. They have read so many books. They understand all the esoteric symbolism on the cards, and they go very deeply. But if you were to ask them to give you advice on something with the cards, they might find it quite difficult because they almost have too much depth of knowledge for what you need. So basically, I'm going to explain the way I use the tarot and a wee bit about it in this video, and then bit by bit we'll be adding on individual cards of the major arcana and then tackling whole suits of the minor arcana. So the tarot, if you want to find out the history of it, Google it, whatever. You know, you don't need to know that. It's nice if you want to, and it'll maybe help you understand where it came from, but you don't need to know that stuff, okay? There's so much you don't need to know. And some of the books that are out there present everything all in a oneer. You know, it's all the astrological facts, all the Hebrew letters, everything. And that's where people just go, whoa, no, not for me, too much. So we're going to use it and we're going to teach in a practical way. So we'll take it from there, okay? The first thing I would like to explain is that the tarot is a form of divination which is called sortilege. Now, divination again, divining things that you need to know from the universe or consciousness or your own inner subconscious, is a way of finding out things. Now, sortilege is when you actually throw a randomness into what you're doing. And sortilege is when things sort of fall in random patterns, but they're not really random at all. The randomness of it or the chaos of it allows the universe or consciousness or your own subconscious or your guides or your angels, whatever way you want to connect with this, it allows you to actually access them through them accessing the randomness. Now, the randomness, which isn't really randomness, comes from either shuffling the deck, or if it were runes, casting the runes, or if it was shaman bones, casting the bones. You can do the same with dice. Sortilege is a way of introducing a degree of chaos or introducing a degree of randomness And then what happens is the universal consciousness feeds back through that to you. And that's wonderful. And it happens. And believe it happens. It's just wonderful. But what if you don't know and understand your tool, particularly if it's the tarot, and you've maybe just gone, oh, right, okay, I'm giving up on this, or I'll go to the book all the time. That's not the way to read the tarot. If you want to refer to a book for meanings, or even refer back to the videos, that's fine. But the way I'm going to teach it to you, particularly the majors, is to help you understand the essence of the card and what it should feel like to you. Because if you use your intellect too much, you'll find, oh, there's so many different meanings. Which one do I choose? Knowing those meanings is great, but it's your instinct and your intuition and the card actually talking to you that will allow you to actually discern what it means or divine what it means. Now, the tarot is absolutely wonderful. I can't see by it. I kind of see life as tarot cards. I remember feeling quite bad about it one time. My daughter came in from school and she said, oh, Mum, little boy got knocked down by the school bus. And my first reaction was, oh, no, a 10 of swords. I hope he's going to be okay. But immediately I saw that flash of a thing that had happened, a physical thing that happened, and connected it directly to a tarot card. So I kind of live and enjoy the tarot. It's part of my work. In fact, it's a very, very strong part of my work, because with my work, particularly with business readings, etc., I have to be fairly accurate. In fact, I have to be very accurate. And the tarot is the thing that does that for me. The tarot is a 78 card deck. It's got enough cards in it with enough meanings to actually span every life experience you could ever have. If you think of it, 78 cards. Now, you don't just look at one card, although you may choose to say one a day, not just to learn the card, but to say what it's going to say to you for that day. Or, you know, you've got a big interview coming. How should I approach it? Draw one card. This way of interacting to your cards lets you enjoy them and also learn as you go along. But if you think of it, 78 cards, you wouldn't normally just be drawing one card. You would have a spread of X amount of cards in a degree of a certain pattern that, you know, you've maybe laid down. Some I'll teach you some very easy ones that give you good results. So basically, you've got these 78 cards that you're going to read maybe 2 or 3 cards at a time, or 7, or if you're good enough, you could do a 21 card Romany spread, which is a very difficult spread to do, but gives you so much information. But let's just say 3 cards. Now, right away, you've got 3 card combinations out of 70 cards. And the probability of the same cards coming out is tiny. So every time you use the cards, shuffle them properly, choose them or let them fall, etc., then you are going to allow yourself to open to the universe to connect with the 3 cards, say, that are the answer for you. Now, if you think of that, it's absolutely amazing. And the combinations of cards, they're endless. It's kind of infinite as to what the tarot can say to you. And I think one of the reasons I enjoyed it is I trained as a pharmacist, and in the final year of my degree, I actually specialised in pharmacology, which is a sense of how medicines work, how they get from one compound put in the body, where it goes, what it hits off, what it combines with, what hormones get it, what destroys it, what enhances it, until it gets to near its wee receptor site, and then what happens when it gets there. And I kind of see that a bit like the tarot. It's like, you know, there's this aspect, and it's going to take this journey, and it could hit this, or it could be stopped by that, and there's so many interactions it could have, and so many then potential outcomes. And I actually see the tarot in basic level as being very like pharmacology. Anyway, so that's my take on it. But if you can imagine, you've got a vast amount of information that if you know and understand the cards, oh wow, it's like the universe at your fingertips. It's like every answer you could ever need is there. And you have to believe that. But where it falls down is if you're no good at what the universe is trying to tell you, if you can't interpret it. So it's worth learning the tarot, but I want you to learn it as a practical tool that can help you when you've problems yourself, maybe to say, look, kind of inner information on this, what's wrong with the situation. And if you're reading for other people as well, I need to get you to have a basic knowledge of the cards, but then to really feel them. Because once you start feeling them on an individual level, you'll then feel what it means when a certain two cards come out together. And then you'll feel what happens to that. If a third card's added, the story will change, the way you react to it will change. And remember all the time, this is the universe connecting with you. This is the universe trying to tell you, look, listen, this is what we're trying to tell you. So it's great. So back to the tarot itself, 78 cards. It's split into 22 cards of the major arcana and 56 of the minor arcana. Now, the word arcana just really means secret or mystery. So you've got 70 mysteries or secrets at your disposal here, which is fantastic. The major arcana is the one you have to master first. And it's the one that is, I find actually, is easier to really, really connect with at gut level. The major arcana is also called the Fool's Journey. Card 0 is the Fool. And then there's 21 more cards that indicate all of life. We call them archetypes. Excuse me, but archetypes really just means the symbolism that represents a lot of things. You know, if I were to hold up the Scottish flag, the line rampant, and you knew what that meant, you would probably say Scotland, and then you might say Misty Glens, or you might say, oh, William Wallace, or you might say, oh, sort of funny people, or kilts, or whatever. And then you might be like, you know, well, if you've been to Scotland and you've loved it, you'll be like, oh, Edinburgh Castle. And then you might think, well, I was in Scotland and it rained the whole time. Oh, rainy weather. Oh, and then so we showed you a flag. It represented something. And then your mind just rolled with it, didn't it? It was like, oh, this, that, next thing. And, you know, we could say the same if we give you the word politician, if we say infant. And basically, all the cards in the major arcana are a sort of frontage, a symbolism for all the things that is encapsulated within that one symbol. That symbol, that archetype leads to other things, and it opens up your mind to other thought processes. And that's why with the majors particularly, you really, really, really need to feel them, as well as know the background meaning. So one of the ways I do that, I've got 2 books out. You don't need to get them, but it's just I will refer back and forward to them. For the basic meanings, which I'll be telling you anyway, Tarot Novice to Pro in one book is a tarot course I wrote in 1997 and turned into a book. Now, it has the majors and the minors in it, and therefore you can refer back and forward. Why I like that is it has little exercises in it. It has, you know, a 3-card spread, how to do it, and then a few questions that actually have been real people or real questions. So that's the one for majors and minors. But some of the majors I'll be referring to in an easier way as to how they fit into your life. So, Ouija Tarot, Life of a Foolish Man is the book for that. The majors, as I say, are the fool's journey through life from start to finish, but it's not linear, it's like a circle. So when he's finished his journey, the thought is he reincarnates and comes back and does it all again, bearing in mind what he's learned from the previous cycle, the previous life. So that it's basically a soul journey. And because the major arcana cards of the traditional decks have very medieval pictures on them, or they go right back to like 12th, 13th century, Some of them are about the Italian court. I find some people found it hard to connect with these visuals. So with Ouija Tarot, what I thought was, right, let's put the fool's journey somewhere accessible. Let's bring it up to date, and let's make all these archetypes be very, very, very known to us all. So I set Ouija Tarot, My Fool's Journey, from 1961 onwards in the East End of Glasgow. So my fool is called Eddie Riley, and he's a Glaswegian, which slang for Glaswegian is Ouija. So it's Ouija Tarot, and it's his life, the life of the Glaswegian fool, the Ouija. A lot of people in America thought this book was about Ouija boards, but it's not. It's just another version of the tarot, but in modern times, set with, archetypes that we would really know and understand. A lot of them are from my own life. A lot of them are just stories made up. But that's a book that I highly recommend if you want to understand the major arcana at gut level. So the fool goes through his journey and he meets things like the devil. He meets the lover's card. He meets the emperor, the empress. He actually goes through looking at the star. All these things that we know, we've absorbed the tarot card names, Most people know the tower isn't a good card. So we'll teach you a few basic meanings, but with the majors, I'm going to ask you to feel the card, to see what it says to you. We're not meant to have favourite cards, but you'll find that the tarot majors are a good tool of you to understand, any sort of biases you have in life, or anything that you find. If you find a card that is meant to be quite positive, actually is sort of not good, you're not feeling it well, then you can analyse, well, why is that? Why do I not particularly connect with that card? What's that about? So the majors is the fool's journey. I'm going to be taking you through that, possibly one or two cards at a time. It depends how I feel. I honestly feel with these videos that I'll do them the way I feel and enjoy them. I don't want them to become work as such, because my joy is passing on all this stuff. I don't want to make it work. So the major arcana is your first layer of the tarot, and I call it the punch cards. It's the ones that tell you what the issue, the problem, or the life event's about. And then added on to that at a later date, there was the 56 cards of the minor arcana, and these are just like a playing deck. But it's important that you realise that they have so much information in them. The four suits represent different elemental aspects of our life. You could say emotion, the intellect, our passion and fire, and the practicalities of life. They're all in there in these four suits, which I'll go into a suit at a time. And every life event is in these cards. And then the first 10 of each suit, they have the potentials of the aces, what the aces mean, what the twos mean, what the threes mean. And if you get one of the sort of older decks, you might find that these are not sort of picture cards. They're called pip cards, and they just have like one sword, two swords, three swords, four swords. And a lot of people that enjoy numerology will read them as that, but I prefer a scenic deck. A scenic deck has pictures for the majors, but it also has interpretation pictures for the minors as well. And all these things help your memory, because if you look at, like, say, the Three of Cups, which is like the Three of Hearts in a playing deck, and you've got three cups, and you think, oh, geez, what does that mean? I've forgotten. But if you look at a Three of Cups that's got three women dancing on it and celebrating their femaleness, then you'll immediately, there's a card of friendship, or there's a card of, that's very fertile. Is that fertility card? What's going on there? So don't make it any harder for yourself than you have to. Get yourself a scenic deck, and we'll discuss that in a minute. So the minor arcana, the first 10, are things that happen, feelings, things coming at us, things we should think of. And there's amazing. And The last 4 cards in each suit are called court cards, and they're the cards that give people a lot of problems. They basically can represent energies which add on to the first 10, but I like to call them people cards. And these people cards in each suit give you another layer of information because they represent different ages, different genders, and different star signs. Once you've learned that, you know what these cards represent, you know what type of person, you might even divine their star sign. That's information that's there. So first of all, if say we have a spread, we put out 5, 6, 7 cards, the first thing we'll be drawn to is the majors. Oh, they're the punch. What are they telling us? Okay. And then round about the majors, there'll be the minor arcana, some of the suits, and that'll say, well, that major has the suit of cups round about it, and that's love and emotion and all sorts of emotions. So, oh, that connects to that. Oh, there's another piece of information, right? And then put out some more cards, and there's a court card in it, and you know that court card is the Knight of Discs, and that represents an older male who is an earth sign. Oh, there we go. There we've got more information. So you see, you've got layers. You've got the major arcana that if you just read the majors and study the majors, that's great. But you're going to get big information, but you're not going to get all the other things round about it. And for you to be a good tarot reader for yourself and other people, you have to take in the full picture. Let's think if you went to an art gallery and you were drawn to a very famous picture, okay? And you're drawn in maybe to the figure in the front of it, because that's the thing that's coming out at you. That figure has been painted to give its punch, to draw you towards it. Well, that's like the major arcana. But that image on its own might be amazing, and it might be kind of all you need, but it's not, because the artist has put different colours in the background. He's maybe put other people. He's maybe put one little symbol that is something special to him. The whole of the background of the painting has all sorts of different things in it. And by just looking at, say, the centre person or the centre thing, you're going to miss everything else that the artist has tried to pass on to you. And that's like the tarot. By understanding the majors, then understanding the minors and the court cards, it all comes together. And when you put it out in a spread, you have a full painting, a full story. And that's the way you need to look at it. Now, if you look at it like that, is it scary? No, not at all. It's just about learning the different depths of the things, and that's what the tarot will be as this channel develops. So, first thing you need is the intent and the desire to learn. Because if you don't have that, don't bother, because you've got 78 cards here, lots of different meanings, and I'm asking you to go deep with them. So if you feel put off now, don't bother. The tarot isn't for you. If you feel intrigued, then it's important to match up with the basic meanings of the cards. And the best way to do that is get yourself a very traditional deck. I recommend Rider-Waite. Rider-Waite. The original Rider-Waite I quite like. There's another one that's got more colours in it, but I find it a wee bit jarring. Now, that should be your first learning deck, and that's the one we'll use. But it's only your starter. Once you know the basics, I'm sure another tarot deck will really choose you. There are thousands of tarot decks out there. Ones that, you know, would be good for you if you liked angels, ones that would be good for you if you liked even vampires. There's so many tarot decks. My main working deck is called Rorig, and it's very modern and very in your face. I'll show you that at some point as well. But there's no point in moving on to a more specified deck unless you know the basics. So it's Rider-Waite for now, or Morgan Greer or Hanson Roberts. But to be safe, to be honest, Rider-Waite's the one that's to be there. And make sure that you're going to give yourself a decent amount of time each week to follow through, to do the exercises, and to really get to know the cards. If you do want backup that isn't on video, then the two books I've suggested, Tarot Novice to Pro by Colette Brown, me, Ouija Tarot, Life of a Foolish Man by Colette Brown, me. Get them too. They're on Amazon and Waterstones, etc. So, are we ready? I don't think there's anything more I want to say in this very long introduction to the tarot, but I'm really excited. I can talk on the tarot for hours, but I'll try and keep the individual cards to maybe under 6-7 minutes each, and the suits will be another thing. So over the next few weeks and months, all the tarot cards will be put up on this site, and follow the order. We're literally going from 0 to 21. Try and follow the order of it, and then when we get to the suits, add them on. Please don't go to the minors first. Without the majors, there's no point of the minors, and that's not putting down anybody that reads playing cards. They within themselves are a good form of divination, but the majors are the intense secrets, the big things that we need to look into. So let's get ready and get this done. And I welcome you to my channel. I welcome you to learning the tarot with me. And many blessings from a most beautiful sunny day in Scotland. Bye now.